Welcome back, everyone. And what an absolutely wild day it has been in the NFL, especially if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. The entire football world has been buzzing since early this morning, when a shocking report dropped suggesting that star linebacker Micah Parsons, the defensive cornerstone of the Cowboys, could be on the move. But just when fans thought things couldn't get any more chaotic, things inside the Cowboys locker room reportedly reached a boiling point, with franchise quarterback Dak Prescott allegedly snapping over the very idea of trading away the team's most dominant defensive player. If you thought the Cowboys had drama before, you haven't seen anything yet, because what's unfolding now sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood football movie, only this is real, raw, and happening in real time in Dallas, and it could completely reshape the future of America's team. Now let's set the scene. For the last couple of seasons, Micah Parsons has been more than just a defensive weapon. He's been the identity of the Dallas Cowboys defense. His presence has changed the way opposing offenses scheme against Dallas, forcing quarterbacks to adjust their entire game plan because of the relentless pressure he brings off the edge. Parsons isn't just good, he's elite, one of the most feared defenders in the league, and someone many believe could go down as one of the greatest defensive players of his generation. So when whispers started circulating this morning about a potential blockbuster trade involving Parsons, it sent shockwaves not just through Cowboys Nation but throughout the entire NFL landscape. According to multiple insider reports, talks between Dallas front office and several interested teams allegedly heated up behind closed doors, and while nothing has been finalized, the mere suggestion of a Parsons trade was enough to send certain players, most notably Dak Prescott, into a rage. Prescott, who has led this franchise through its highs and lows over the past several years, reportedly felt completely blindsided by the discussions. Sources claim that during a private team meeting, Dak confronted team management and demanded to know why one of the team's most critical players was suddenly being shopped around, especially as the Cowboys gear up for a pivotal season in which expectations are sky high and the pressure to reach the Super Bowl is at an all-time peak. One account even described the locker room atmosphere as explosive, with some players openly taking sides. There are those who apparently understand the business side of football, acknowledging that salary cap constraints and looming contract negotiations make difficult decisions inevitable. Parsons, being on the verge of what could be one of the largest defensive contracts in NFL history, is no doubt at the center of those financial conversations. But on the other side, there's a growing sense of frustration and betrayal from key leaders who feel the front office is tearing apart the team's foundation at the worst possible time. And according to reports, Dak Prescott made it very clear which side he's on, allegedly raising his voice and making an emotional plea to keep Parsons in Dallas, citing team chemistry, playoff aspirations, and the importance of sending a message of unity rather than chaos. Imagine being a player in that room, watching two pillars of the franchise, your starting quarterback and your generational defensive star, being pitted against the business realities of the league. The tension must be suffocating. Teammates reportedly tried to calm things down, but the tone was set. One insider described the meeting as the most heated team discussion in years, with some veterans warning that losing Parsons could demoralize not just the defense but the entire roster. For a team already battling the narrative that they haven't reached the NFC Championship in decades, this kind of internal turmoil could derail the season before it even begins. Adding to the drama, speculation about possible destinations for Parsons is already running rampant. Teams with cap space and championship ambitions are allegedly preparing trade packages that could include multiple first-round picks, star players, or both. Imagine the impact if a team like the Ravens, the Bills, or even a rival NFC powerhouse swoops in and lands Micah Parsons. The ripple effect across the league would be massive. But in Dallas, the focus isn't on compensation right now, it's on damage control. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office are reportedly scrambling to calm the storm, assuring players that no decisions have been finalized while simultaneously trying to gauge just how much leverage they truly have in potential trade talks. Meanwhile, the fans are in full meltdown mode. Social media has been flooded all day with hashtags like Keep Micah Parsons, and even some calling for massive protests outside the Cowboys training facility if management dares to trade away their defensive superstar. Cowboys Nation has seen controversial roster moves before, but few players have captured the hearts and trust of the fan base quite like Parsons. For many fans, trading him now would feel like the ultimate betrayal, a signal that ownership values cap flexibility over championship contention. And when the fan base turns on ownership, that pressure becomes impossible to ignore, especially in a city like Dallas, where football isn't just a sport, it's a way of life. The ripple effects of this locker room explosion could be long-lasting. Even if Parsons isn't traded, the fact that the team entertained the idea could fracture trust between players and management. Dak Prescott's alleged outburst shows how deeply personal this has become for the players who have fought alongside Parsons, built chemistry with him, and believed he was a critical piece of a potential championship puzzle. If relationships are damaged, if morale takes a hit, then no matter how talented the roster looks on paper, that invisible bond that often separates good teams from great ones may already be broken. And here's the biggest question of them all: what does this mean for Dak Prescott's future? Dak has been the face of the Cowboys for years, but he's also been under scrutiny, especially with discussions around contract extensions, salary cap implications, and playoff performances. If this situation escalates, could we see a scenario where Dak himself starts to question whether the organization truly shares his vision of winning now? Could this controversy ignite a chain reaction that eventually leads to even bigger changes within the Cowboys organization, changes that could reshape the entire direction of the franchise for years to come? For now, we're left with a storm of speculation, passion, and uncertainty. The Cowboys are standing at a crossroads. On one path, they keep Micah Parsons, make it clear to the locker room and the fan base that winning is the ultimate priority, and head into the season with a united front determined to prove that the Super Bowl drought is finally coming to an end. On the other path, they pull the trigger on a trade, collect a mountain of assets, but risk tearing apart the very chemistry and identity that could have been the key to hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. And all of this is playing out in real time, with players, coaches, and fans watching closely, every second feeling like a potential tipping point. So as the sun sets on this wild day in Cowboys history, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. Whether Parsons stays or goes, whether Dak calms down or continues to push back, whether Jerry Jones doubles down on his vision or bends to the will of his players and fans, this situation has already changed the energy in Dallas. The locker room has been shaken, the NFL world is on high alert, and Cowboys Nation is holding its breath, hoping, praying, and demanding that the team makes the right decision, not just for the business of football, but for the soul of America's team. Thank you for staying with us through this breaking story, and as always, if you love getting deep dives into the biggest NFL news, the drama, the twists, and the turning points that shape the league we love, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the Cowboys, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, and all the biggest names in the NFL. This one is just getting started, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss what happens next.